everyone. It's Wednesday. Welcome to the Knowledge Bolide Hangout, sponsored by Toberspin Meteorites. I was just reminded that today is the 5th of May, which is Return of the 5th. And yesterday was May the 4th be with you. So I have my Star Wars Stormtrooper helmet out, and we were just talking Star Wars before I started recording. So if anyone has any cool Star Wars related stuff, maybe some Tatooine, we'll take a look at that. We don't have Doc Brown, the scientist, with us today, but we're going to try to make do without. And I open it up to anyone who has something they'd like to show off, or a story to tell, or news. Well, I'll start off then.
I got something cool in the mail.
Oh, what'd you get?
One of my buddies made something for me.
Hey,
that's great.
That's me and Topher at the rocket launch, getting ready to rocket.
there you go.
It looks awesome, dude.
Awesome. Yes,
I
sir.
love it. That's so cool.
It came out so good. That's awesome. Yeah, right on. I use pillows all the time everywhere I go. I prop them up behind my back, use them under my arm when I'm watching TV. I even had Rob Keaton make me one out of leather pillow. But yes, that was a pleasure and a little treat to do that for you. That was kind of reminiscent of our weekend out shooting off the high-powered rockets. Mike Kelly, lovely. I love to see a hand up. Let's go to you and see what you got for us, buddy.
Hey, how's everyone doing this evening? So I got one little kind of cool one that I've been on the hunt for a while, which it's around. So it was just a matter of time before I got it, and focusing on a bunch of other things, kind of kept kicking the can down the road. So I picked up this a little while ago. So that's a 26-gram Morasko. So that's a Polish iron. It's a 1AB main group iron. And the reason why I really like this one is, being a former Army guy, this was found by a German soldier originally in 1914 in Poland, and the original mass eventually went to Berlin. And then after World War I, it went back to the local town's museum, I guess, over in Poznan, Poland. So I thought that was a pretty cool iron, and it is associated with a little meteorite crater nature preserve they have there that has 8 craters. So it is a crater-forming iron event.
Wow. It's Morasko?
Yeah, that's Morasko.
That is really cool. I've seen a lot of Canyon Diablos that size. That's very reminiscent of a Canyon Diablo size. But unless I'm wrong, Morasko, usually they're a lot bigger ones, man.
Yeah, so this was actually found by a guy who lives in Poland, right near the town, and hunts it all the time. So he had a lot of smalls, and he's found some big, multi-kilo beautiful masses. So.
Wow, that's awesome. Cool. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, nice to have one right from the finder.
Yeah.
Is that Casimir's, Mike?
As far as the finder?
Yes.
Let me pull a card out. Let's see. If I can find it.
Yeah, that's an iron I still think I need to get is Morasko, a nice slice of it.
That's the gentleman who finds them. That's Andrzej.
Okay. Love giving out credit where credit's due, and where we can re-get them if we need them.
So is that an H5 or an H6?
Oh, that's an iron.
Yeah, iron 1 AB main group.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm forever working on ways to display different meteorites, and each piece, each one is special, and sometimes you have to display them and kind of get creative in your display techniques. So this is one I'm working on right now. As you can see, it's a beautiful Mesosiderite.
Yes.
And what I kind of did is I removed one of the pieces of felt, and because it's an end cut. So I removed one of the pieces of felt, and then I'll be very careful when I handle this. Also cut out a section in the middle and put a thinner felt pad in there to get the right height.
Cool.
And what we're left with is this beautiful Mesosiderite. I'm very careful not to break that off,
Yeah.
because if you see it, it is not on there by much.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Thank you very much. I fell in love with this and had to have it. Look at how knobby that is.
Oh, yeah. It's nice and thick as well.
Yeah. All except for that.
Yeah.
I swear that's going to come off. Let me see if this thing will let me zoom. Oh, yeah, good. It's letting me zoom today. Yeah, I really feel like that's going to fall off if I'm not careful. But this is a absolutely gorgeous Mesosiderite, and it is a brand new classification, NWA 13102. And what we're looking at here is I think there was only one stone. If I remember correctly, I think there's only one stone, and this is one of the end cut. This is one of the end cuts. It's 13.3 grams.
Beautiful.
Craig Lyman did the cutting and etching, and the main mass holder is our good buddy Juan Aviles.
Yes.
From Jurassic Dreams. He's actually on with us right now. But because it's really late in France and his wife is sleeping, he's on headphones. And
hi, buddy.
Oh, there he is.
Yes, I'm here, Toffer, but my wife is just sleeping in the other side of the wall, so I can't speak too much. But I'm following all of you. So yeah, amazing Mesosiderite. Finally, you got the only end cut that exists of the total mass.
This is the only one?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just really a small total known weight. Yeah, absolutely.
What an honor. Oh, yes.
I could not be happier. Absolutely could not be happier. Here it is with my smiling face next to it. No, it's really, really super cool. And that's why I wanted to build a really unique display for it, because not only do I want to protect it, obviously, but I want to be able to hand it to someone. And
I'm on a Zoom meeting with the meteorite.
Maybe you could mute yourself, Harold. And by yeah, so I wanted to make a nice case that would not only protect it, but also be able to hand it to people and let them enjoy it as well. So that's one of my new ones that I'm happy with. We have a hand up. Let me see here. If Sam turns his camera on, I'll go right to you. Sam Lopez checking in with us.
Oh, I'm here. The little ones wanted to say hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Can you see and hear? We have Landon and Xiden, and they wanted to show you something. Let me turn the camera around. You want to show them yours, Landon?
This is mine, Meteorite.
And what type of meteorite is it?
Sorry about that. Wife was calling.
That's my first Meteorite.
He has a little Kelly here.
Oh, nice. I love
Keep it in the light,
Chelyabinsk.
Landon.
And this is eyes.
Sorry, it's reversed. I've never used this phone for this, so everything's backwards. Xiden, you want to show them yours?
Yeah.
What kind is yours, Xiden? It's a Campo.
That and mine, and that side.
They're gun shy.
That size and that mine.
That is great. And those are your first meteorites?
Eyes.
Yep, these are their, well, Xiden has a piece of Tarta. This is her second meteorite.
Wow. That's a nice one. That actually stands up and displays pretty nicely by itself. Wow.
Yeah, it almost split in two pieces.
Yeah. Well, I like what you're doing, Sam. Get them hooked and get them hooked early. For
Yeah, when
sure.
they're young, right?
Yeah. The world needs a lot more kids and teens interested in science. That's for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Let me highlight them real quick. There they are. Where do they go? As soon as the camera gets on,
They always want to be on. They're like, hey, I want to say hi to everyone, but when it's time, they don't want to.
Yeah. Oh well. I have something that I want to show that I think is really, really super cool. And I was talking about displays and how I want to display stuff. I don't know how I want to display this yet, but I just got it yesterday and I'm super excited for it. So first off, this will go in my COA book. This is the actual COA that goes with it. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Hassi Messaoud 001. It's a Martian nakhlite, and this new classification belongs to Matt Stream of Streaming Meteorites, and I could only afford a little bit under a gram, so 759.759, but he knocked it out of the park with the COAs to go with it. They're credit cards.
That's really cool.
Yeah. With the Perseverance track, or maybe, I don't know, another rover track, but each one of his Mars ones are serialized, because when you get this rare and expensive of material, you really have to, I mean, there's only 75 grams of it around. So this is a really, really cool card. So I told him on Instant Messenger yesterday that this is going to be in the display somehow, but here's the actual material itself.
Oh, wow.
Now, Martian nakhlite is expensive material. It's about $1,000 a gram, $800 to $1,000 a gram, when it's all in one piece. I went with the crumbles because it was more affordable, and I wanted to support my buddy as the main mass holder as well. Look at that.
Sweet.
So a really, really cool classification of a nakhlite, one of my buddies, Matt Stream of Streaming Meteorites, and I have a display COA and then a document COA to go in my folder. So you knocked it out of the park with this one, buddy. Super cool job. While I'm talking about Matt Stream, we talk a lot on the side, and he is a very, very generous and very nice person. So I talk about him because I like him, and I like his, I've gone hunting with him, I've gone camping with him. He's a great guy, and we do business together. But this is one of his new classifications. This is an L4 Breccia. So this is a 57-gram gift.
Wow.
Yesterday. And Could not be happier.
Oh, boy.
Look at that brecciation.
That's a showstopper.
Yeah.
Wow.
You definitely have so many different lithographies in here. This entire pebble is smashed in here. There's another tan one down here. You have like this material squeezed through here is the same as this. And this is very chondritic. This has a lot of chondrules in it versus this material really doesn't. So it's classified as an L4 breccia. And this is NWA 13906. And I know he has some more of this material. So streaming meteorites, Matt Stream. And look at this. Look at that hunk just stuck on there.
That's a hunk. Oh, yeah.
That's what breccia is, baby.
All right.
Yes, I was really when I was expecting the Mars, and when I got the package from him, it felt super heavy, and I'm like, either he sent me the wrong thing or he sent me a gift. And I was really happy that I didn't have to return anything.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful piece of breccia, and I really appreciate your generosity, Matt. So thank you very much for that. Really, really super cool of you. Do we have any hands up for people to show off stuff? All right. Well, let me tell you the new perils of Moldavite. I see some nodding. Oh, we have Pat Brown in the house. Doc Brown is with us. There was a craze or an influencer on TikTok that made a video, and it featured Moldavite, and I have no idea any more detail other than that. Other than it went viral on TikTok, and people started craving Moldavite for the superpowers that it possesses. I'll leave it at that. So there was a run on Moldavite. Now, Moldavite is the glass impactite from Czech Republic, and so there's been a huge run on Moldavite. The Moldavite prices have skyrocketing. So what happens when there's high demand, highly uneducated people, and prices are soaring? You get the fakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the Tektite pages have just been absolutely flooded lately. Topher, that's spot on. It's a real problem. There's a lot of crap being passed off.
Libyan Desert Glass is going way up as well.
I hear that's going to be the next thing, because that's the next TikTok craze. But what I want to do here with the knowledge bolide is we want to have an explosion of knowledge of people. So rather than just tell people that there is a problem, let's actually show them what real stuff looks like and what fake stuff looks like. So pause for 1 second to screen share. I decided that it was a good idea to try to throw a little bit of knowledge bolide out there about fake Moldavite. And I want to give a little bit of a shout out to this webpage down here well, you can read it. My highlighter's not on, but they have a lot of information, and I didn't want to plagiarize it, and I didn't want to cherry pick it. So I think it's definitely worth your while if you have an interest in Moldavite, or if you have a question if some of the Moldavite you own is real. I highly recommend going to their webpage and taking in from beginning to end, because there's a lot of good information there. And I wasn't about to plagiarize or steal. I want to give them all the traffic and all the kudos they can. But we're going to play a game. We're going to play a game, folks. Do you think we can identify as a group real or fake?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fake.
That would be fake and fake.
Yep.
And
Yeah, it looks too glassy.
And it's totally the wrong color.
Yeah.
That too.
I explained, I don't know if you were here or not, but I explained extremely briefly what Moldavite is. Can you, Pat, please tell us what Moldavite will never be?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Moldavite is a very, very high pressure impact glass and it's characterized by a very, very low water content. It is not obsidian. It is not any of the more common impact glasses.
It's not black then.
It's not. So the here lately on the Tektite pages, the things that just scream are, if it looks like a Heineken beer bottle, that glow green, that's wrong. If it's pink or red or any other crazy colors, yeah, there's one of the beer bottle ones.
Wow.
It's like the Henry
colors.
Ford of Tektites. You can have it in any color you want as long as it's green.
Heineken beer bottle green. Tektites are never gray. Now, there are a number of them that are kind of a dark olive drab green, but they're never gray, and they never have stripes in them. So a lot of the fake stuff that's not molded stuff that comes from China is these pseudo Tektites, which I even hate that name. The Columbianites, the Healdbergites, and here lately, somebody in the Philippines has discovered a dump truck full of soil etched obsidian glass, and they're hawking it as Tektites.
Fake.
That one's real.
Can we get now Pat Brown to remain silent and have everyone's opinion on this one?
I don't like the edges.
Okay. Anyone else? Other one opinions?
I'd say it's fake.
That is an absolute real piece of Moldavite that I photographed myself.
Why are the edges like silvery instead of green?
Because I wanted to show you also what bad photography can reveal. I overexposed it to show you that the thinner glass that would be nice and clear has a tint to it. So this is real Moldavite, but I have kind of played with the color a little bit to give it a false color around the outside. So yeah, those that said it's real Moldavite but question the outside.
Yep. So another clue that we can see from this one is the fake Moldavite that's coming out of China that's actually molded glass. When they do the mold, they can't make it so that there are hedgehoggy little spikes that stick out. They have to make it more smooth, and it has to be monotonic, so that they can get the thing out of the mold. And so the surface of it won't fold back over on itself. It'll just be higher or lower. And the edges tend to, as Toper's highlighting there, the edges tend to be rounded and look wrong. Also, real Moldavite and real Libyan desert glass contain bubbles quite often. And the nasty fake Moldavites and fake glass coming out of China don't have bubbles in them.
So for me, one of the things that I've noticed about a lot of the fake Moldavite out there is the texture. So you can see in some of the fakes, it actually looks like carved glass. Yeah. Like that is a good example.
Yeah.
The texture is way wrong. It looks like somebody had a a piece of plastic or something, and they took a Dremel and they carved these lines into it, and you can almost see the round ball point of that texture that gives it away. And obviously the color, I've seen a lot of crazy colors.
Yes.
Yeah, Topher, if you want to back up to that last fake, also look at the edge. See how the edge is not sharp or chipped or anything? It's very smooth and rolled over like the edge of a drinking glass.
Yeah.
Because they're molding these, you won't see any of those sharp edges or those hedgehoggy sort of spikes.
And when you do see what pretend to be bubbles, they're only on the surface. They're never on the interior. So you can see those that I'm highlighting.
And also you can just see how glossy this one is, how reflective it is.
Looks like a piece of hard candy.
So let's get everyone's opinion on this one.
That looks real.
Yeah, that looks real to me.
That is 100% real. I took the picture myself, and if you notice, there's not only bubbles, but it's all broken and cracked. Another thing about real Moldavite is it cracks along the edges very, very easily. That's why they go for such high prices when they're perfect. As you can see on this one up here, I didn't do the color correction or color miscorrection on this one. So what you're actually seeing is the lighter green that is of thinner glass that I didn't do earlier. If that makes sense. My zoom, there we go. My zoom was locked. This right here, you'll see it's not discolored. It's just a lighter green. Same thing with this over here as well. So correct, that is a real piece of Moldavite. This one we've already said is someone's throat lozenge that was halfway dissolved.
Also, the real one so the contrast between the real one and the beer bottle one is the soil etching on a real Moldavite goes deep, and it lays over itself.
I have a beautiful example of soil etching coming up.
Cool.
That's going to blow you away.
Cool.
Here is, can we get your people's opinions on this one?
I'm going with real.
And you are correct to do that. This is a real piece of Moldavite. You'll find channels and tunnels and channels and all kinds of stuff in them. You'll notice that this is a bubble. These are all bubbles, but that is an internal bubble that's been broken and sheared. You'll see that this side here has been broken off, and it's shiny, super shiny glass right there. You don't see that in the fakes at all. You can actually see where it broke right there. So yes, this is a real piece of Moldavite.
Fake.
Yeah, fake.
Yeah, fake.
The scallops along the edges are not real.
Exactly. Good. Very, very well put. Scallops. Look at how uniform. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at it. It's in a mold.
Cookie cut.
Here comes one that I really want to see your opinions on.
Ooh, fake.
Yeah, that's also fake.
Yeah.
Fake.
You guys are getting good.
Because you can tell that they're, whatever tool they used left a rounded, scalloped remnant, whatever, an effect, as opposed to, there's no sharpness on the edges at all.
You're leading me right into the next one.
Real.
Real.
Yeah. Real.
Absolutely real. Yes. So it goes exactly with what you were saying. The scallops on the edges are nowhere. It looks random and chaotic, just like nature should. If you notice though, it does have grain to it. It does have these linear lines going from side to side. And
Cleavage.
if you go, what is it called?
Cleavage, like with glass.
Yeah, it's actually not cleavage in this case. It's actually, because this is amorphous glass essentially. It is actually striation.
Okay.
In the impact, some of the quartz in the glass is turned to pseudomorphs of quartz, high pressure pseudomorphs, whose names are escaping me at the moment. But those, yes, there's two of them. There's
Cristobalite and stichylite.
Pallasite. Yes.
Cristobalite and stichylite are the two high pressure polymorphs on the quartz side.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now I know the pronunciation of those words because I've only read them in books. That's the sign of a self-educated man, is you don't know how to pronounce anything. But yeah, so those striations are mixed in with the glass, and they have done some work with etching, and it will etch preferentially along those striations. And because these are soil etched, it also etches preferably along those lines.
Oh, fake.
So by everyone's silence, I take it this is a positive vote of a real.
Yeah, real.
So I was able to fool it. Nope, it's real.
Real.
And possibly one of my favorites. I'm not even going to pretend it's going to be a fake one. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
that's a nice one.
In a lot of Moldavites, you'll see this. You'll see a 360 crater with a raised interior center. It's something that, as you start look, I thought this was a real oddity when I first bought it. I thought it was a super oddity, and then I started looking and I realized, holy crap, it's really super common. And yeah, so this is a beautiful example of one. When you look at a Moldavite, you want to see the pattern. Does it go all the way through the glass, or is it only on the surface? So can I get people's opinion on this one?
Very
so
real.
The texture looks real. The lighting looks off.
Yeah, it is my early attempt at photography, but that's my logo is hidden right here. So it is very real, and we're gonna finish by washing off our eyeballs a little bit.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I love that one on the right.
That one on the right was
Christmas tree.
Exactly. I forget what they're called, Benonite or something, but they all have nicknames and stuff. But if these little spokes were not broken, this would be a couple $1,000
easily. Yes.
Yeah, the price of these things has just absolutely gone crazy. If you want to highlight Meteorite, I've got one that
I do want to highlight you, but I want to show this first.
Okay, go for it.
Because you mentioned soil etching. So I thought this was a good example right here because it still actually has soil in it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes.
Wow.
So sometimes you'll and if you notice on a few of these back, well, there's one right there. It has sand on it as well. So I don't want to give all the secrets and trips out because, but they have some manufacturing work to do before they're good enough to fool us yet, as we proved today. So good job, guys. That
was a nice piece. I'm green with envy.
I don't own it anymore. I literally sold that one. So let me see here. Do we have hold on a second.
Yeah, so here is another one. It's not autofocusing very well. But the Moldavites have always been collected, but they just recently went super, super popular. And before all that happened at Tucson, I was able to buy this piece, which is almost perfect. There's one or two little tiny chips, but it shows the real deep soil etching. And I probably bought this one for 5 cents on the dollar, or maybe less.
Wow.
I think it was 2014. The other thing that you can do to sorry, my camera is
There we go.
in a weird orientation. The other thing is, if you buy from somebody who has a Czech name, your odds are better of getting real Moldavite. The Moldavites now just gone completely, totally nuts, as Topper said, from the hip or the tip top stuff. The other thing that I've noticed too is the Indochinites have gone nuts. There were a bunch of those for sale at the little 2021 show for $2 a gram. The last batch of those that I bought was $20 a kilo to pick out of the big box. So there's there's incentive now for people to fake stuff, unfortunately. And then I've got one more. It's a Tektite, but it's not a Moldavite.
Wow.
This one is, I think, I don't know for certain. I need, in fact, I just dug it out.
Boomerang.
Post it. Yeah, I think it's a stretch Tektite, or at least has a chance to be a stretch Tektite. This feature here shows differential soil etching, and these stretch features on this side show differential soil etching as well. And Tektites are absolutely fascinating because there's so much we don't know. We have not identified the crater for the Indochinite Tektites. Well, Indochina, Australasian Tektites is the more proper name because the Australites are from that same impact as well. So fascinating subject. Thank you, Tober.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go to Chris Monk. There we go.
So I just have a representation. So this is one that I've had for a while, and I don't know, the lighting isn't showing up the deep craters as much in that, but this is what I loved when I got this one. Is it, look, you can almost see it flying through the sky.
Yeah,
as a drop of glass or something. But
yeah,
I'm trying to show those same craters that you were talking about, Topher. You can kind of see them, and unfortunately it did have a chipped edge right there.
Yeah.
Maybe let me try this real quick.
That one is quite possibly a half of a dumbbell. Oh, that's
oh wow,
pretty. Yes, that's a very proper color.
Yeah.
So they call these splash form Tektites, and when you have one that started out oblong and then is ejected and is spinning rapidly, it pulls into two blobs with a thinner spot in the middle. So that is almost certainly half of a dumbbell.
So I love it. It's my only representation of Moldavite, but it's also one of my first Tektites that I ever bought. And I'm sure I paid more than it's going for these days, but I love it.
Well, actually, it might be a pretty safe investment, to be honest with you, the way TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'll be, not to be a greedy bum, but I'll tell you what, if TikTok made Moldavite all the craze, You know what's going to be on the subject and title of this video? Moldavite, Moldavite.
The Moldavite.
You're just pandering Topher for more viewers.
I am, yes. In fact, that's a great time to stop and remind everyone to hit the like button right now. Mike Kelly, are you ready audio-wise?
Yeah, so I wanted to point out one thing. To every rule, there's an exception. So when Pat was talking generically about Tektites, not just Moldavites, there is one form that is layered, and that's Moung Nong Tektites. So I just wanted to show these ones off. So these are, you can kind of see the layers going that way a little bit on there. And I'll see if this works here.
What is that called again?
Moung Nong Tektites. So these are, they're legitimate Tektites, and you can see the color is kind of greenish brown in them, but you can see with the backlight that it definitely has layers to it. So that is one legitimate known Tektite that does have layers to it. And Pat had mentioned all that, you know, the color and striations are usually, you know, as a general rule of thumb, a way to tell what's fake or not. So let me see if I can get the light just right on this, not blind you guys. So you can see the color on this is gray. So this is a Saffordite from Arizona. And you can see that dark line right in the middle is a very distinct line through the bit of obsidian, which is what this really is. So you could tell definitely that the color is way different than what the Tektite was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can get into a discussion one of these days about pseudo-tektites and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of talk about that, and then people collect it. I have a few pieces of Moldavite here that, well, someone asked me a few days ago if I had Moldavite, and my answer was no, I sold everything. Then I found a bag. So here's just some interesting pieces of Moldavite, and I guarantee these are real. But you can see some of the features we were talking about where, like, this would be possible to come out of a mold. There's physically a gap right there.
Yes, those overhangs. Yes.
You know, and that's a reoccurring feature you'll see in Moldavites a lot, are the bubbles, the voids.
Yep. Many of those unusual shapes, like the one you showed, Topher, that had kind of the circular divot in it with a raised central area.
Yeah.
Those are thought to be bubble evolved sort of forms. Oh, that's a pretty one. That's a real pretty one. Yeah. So that one is the inside of that was a bubble because of that shape to it. Yeah, that one. So okay, you can see the soil etching following the striation lines curved around that one. Yeah, there's zero doubt at all that that's a genuine one.
That's a pretty heavy one too. But here again, you start seeing a little bit of a complete.
Yeah.
Here's one that's really cool because it shows how thin they can get and translucent.
And again, the inside of that is a bubble shape.
And you still have.
Oh, it's got a hole through it too.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you're not.
Those are nice pieces.
Another hole over there too.
Yeah.
Up on top.
Nice pieces.
Yeah, so you're not going to find stuff like this coming out of a mold. It's not going to have that bubble effect. And you do see that the pattern does go through the piece and is internal as well. And then here's the last one I had to show off.
Nice.
Yeah, those are beautiful pieces, Topher. Did you get those at Tucson of 2020?
These are 2019, I believe. Yeah, I have more, but yeah, these were some of the bigger ones, the nicer ones. But I thought were good examples to show off some of the features that are never going to be in fake Moldavite. You know, you're looking for imperfections. You're not looking for perfection, you know, so you're expecting to see broken edges, you know, you're expecting to see things that are impossible to mold with holes that go through them. You know, so just some examples for us to enjoy. And I'm not really an Impactite guy. In fact, I sold most of my impact material in bulk, just to narrow down my field of collecting.
Yeah, I wonder who bought that.
I wasn't gonna name you unless you step forward, but yeah, all my impact material. In fact, that's why I didn't think I had anything left, because I thought I sold everything to you. In fact, check this out. This is one of them that we looked at pictures. This is one that we looked at pictures of. Is it a real piece or not?
Oh yeah! Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zero doubt on that one.
Yeah, and that's a cool one because it has a nice tunnel.
Yeah. Topper, I found a couple more in the cabinet. If you want to highlight me again.
I do.
So these two are Australites from Australia, and this one is the longer one here is a flanged boat. It's not complete, obviously, but you can see the flange around it like a button flange Tektite. And that's that's the one that got away from me. I had a chance to buy button flanges for about $800 years ago and didn't do it.
Wow.
And as of about 5 years ago, they were going for $2,000 to $3,500. But when I was at the Tucson show, I got this little tiny miniature. They call them discoid or disc tektites, but it is it's oriented and has the same form as a button flange Tektite, but just considerably smaller. So, you know, the grid here is 1/4 inch squares, and you can see the scale cube there too.
Wow. That's amazingly oriented and small.
Yeah, and there were two, and I only bought one because I wasn't sure what I was looking at. And I went back to get the other one, and it wasn't there anymore, of course. But these were at the Denver show, and they were $10 each.
Huh. Oh, you got a deal on them then. I remember, not to name drop, and I'm going to name drop because why not? I was in the ASU Center for Meteorite Studies vault with Dr. Lawrence Garvey and Ruben Garcia, and I forget else. But Dr. Garvey was showing us anything and everything we wanted to see. And, there's a piece of Chrysigny this big, of Mars, and priceless stuff. And it's just laying around. I mean, it's being cared for. But he walked over to this cabinet, opened it up, and you could tell he was nervous. And he would put it down, ask us all to step back, open up this little case inside the case, and sitting on a piece of cotton was a perfect, and I didn't appreciate it or understand what I was looking at, a perfect flanged Tektite. It looked like a flying saucer. It was only about as big as this cap. It wasn't very big, maybe a little bit bigger, but it was maybe this was the actual size of the Tektite, and then the flange around it was a little bit bigger, but it wasn't massive. And he was visibly uncomfortable until it was back in its packaging and put away in the shelf. And he was not comfortable having it even breathed upon. So when you say you had an opportunity to buy one for $800, yeah, ASU would love to get their hands on that deal.
Yep. I have some fractured partial ones, but I don't have any whole ones.
If you want to see another cool one, Topher, speaking of places to go visit them, the Monin collection at Texas Christian University has a couple on display. And one of the ones they have hanging up is literally a flange that completely separated from the button but didn't break. So it's just a ring of glass hanging up.
Wow.
Yes, those are rare, but they do happen. So as we're talking about tektites, one of the classic books is Tektites by Barnes and Barnes. It's a father-daughter PhD team, and there are some wonderful papers in here. And we were talking about the striation stuff. This is the cut through the edge of a button flange tektite, showing the flange developing by the material rolling back over on itself.
Wow.
And you can see all the striations in there. And you
Just
can
like
also
a wave.
see, yeah, you can also see how fragile those flanges are in their attachment to the core.
Wow. Doesn't it look like a thin section or a cross section of the one of those I just showed?
It's a cross section of a button flange tektite.
Yeah, but like that's miniature, but the one I showed was a big one just now. Yeah.
Yes. So the striations are the same. In the button flange tektites, of course, they're oriented, and they're the development of the flange relies on them being oriented for a considerable period of time, and the material flowing symmetrically up and over the back of the tektite. And there's another, here it is. This drawing shows it very nicely. So they start out spherical, and then they remain oriented. The material rolls up and around, and they also get these ringlet patterns on the front side that are from the shock waves as it's supersonic.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
And if anybody really has to have a copy of this book, I have some extras.
We knew you would, man.
Well, did Henry Nidenford do a lot of tektite work?
Yes, he did.
And I have one of his that's numbered. I wonder if that's worth anything.
They are. I just purchased a numbered one from the Meteorite men folks, Aerolite, and it's not here yet. It's in the mail. And just for reference, that one was a fairly small, maybe less than an inch in diameter, nothing special about the sculpture, and it was $103.
I wonder what that the flange goes for.
I haven't seen one for sale for a while.
Wow. I think we have someone a lot cuter than any of us to check in on right now.
I got a junior member who wants to show off her birthday present. Remember what it's called? Let's see you try it.
Alhagunia 11?
Close, yeah. Alhagunia 11.
Wow. That's your birthday present?
Part of it.
Very nice.
Wow. And do you know what kind of meteorite it is?
No. Steel?
No, not steel. It's a chondrite.
What's a chondrite?
I'll tell you later.
It's a chondrite? Nice. You're giving her a big old CO for her birthday, dude? Way to go.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's super cool. Let me see here. I have something that I want to show off because I put a post on Facebook earlier today about the 34 Pallasites that I own. And this is the absolute newest one to my collection. I am very, very appreciative of this. Alserd 002.
Cool.
This is a Pallasite with only 427 grams known weight.
Wow.
Wow.
There's no metal.
Look at this.
That's sweet.
Wow.
Is that amazing or what?
And those are thick slices too.
Yeah. At first, when I got it, it was in a box with something else that I purchased, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't have it backlit. I looked at it pretty quickly, and I assumed that I was looking at a winonite.
Oh.
But then I looked at it a little bit more and asked a few questions and found out that this is actually the brand new Pallasite that Juan Aviles got classified.
Awesome.
Wow.
I contacted him 2 weeks ago to buy a slice, and he had none left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that go up on one of the meteorite pages, and yeah, it didn't last very long.
Yeah, every single bit he had is sold, but I do know that there is a few pieces available. I believe Mark Lyon may have a few.
Mm-hmm.
But without good lighting, I really honestly thought this was winonite. But this is spectacular metal. Look at that.
Yes.
So I know I say thank you to Juan so often. We partner on a lot of things and we stay in contact quite a bit. But this was one of the most generous gifts Juan Aviles bestowed upon me that I can recall.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are welcome, buddy. You are welcome.
Thank you, buddy. I wasn't blowing wind up your skirt. I forgot you were on, man. Yeah. This one right here, I honestly, this is what I saw first, and I thought, oh my God, he sent me a huge chunk of high metal winonite. And then I found out it was Pallasite, and I'm like, oh my God, even better. And then I saw him backlit, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, I'm super happy. I'm a super happy, proud owner. And, you know, that's one thing that's great about, you know, having great friends and them knowing how much I truly respect and honor and appreciate these rare cosmic gems. When gifts are given like that, it touches me deeply, and you know, it lives in my collection forever. So Juan, my brother in Spain, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Very special.
Yep. You are welcome, buddy. You are welcome.
Let me hit pause for 1 second. We're checking in with Ben Fissler.
All right. Is that in focus?
Not even in the view.
Okay.
Sweet.
One of my Tektites.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were talking earlier about the Moldavites coming from Czech Republic and them all being green because of the soil there. That one obviously came from a different soil, and the different chemicals gave it that color, the dark color.
And this one's kind of a teardrop.
Yeah.
Although I'm still really attached to this meatball. And then I have this beautiful Hershey's Kiss.
Oh, that's the showstopper for sure.
Oh, look at the spin on it.
The twist on the striations, yeah.
Oh, that's
I got this in. I got these three in '98 at a Gem and Mineral show.
Wow.
That is crazy. That is an example of what Pat was talking about earlier, the centrifugal force pulling two drips apart, and it broke right there. But that is super interesting. I've never seen one that elongated and then have that twisting or spiraling pattern on it.
I have seen that before, that it is quite spectacular.
And just for the heck of it, I also have a piece of Darwin Glass.
Yeah, we haven't discussed. What is Darwin Glass?
It's allegedly impact glass from a crater in Tasmania. That's about all I know of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is an impact glass. It's not a tektite in that it wasn't as high a force an impact, but yeah, it's an impact glass.
And then this kind of dumbbell, it also has a channel, is not a tektite, and it could be impact glass, but I think it's volcanic ejecta. I found this in northern Arizona.
Cool.
And it's glass. It's not obsidian or any kind of a feldspar. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of cool, so I kept it.
I wonder how many miles you've put on your hiking boots in Arizona.
How many pairs of boots?
Nice.
Yeah. So Topper, you mentioned that the Australites are a different color. They are more of a greenish gray sort of color, and that material is gray Wackle sandstone. Even though we haven't identified the impact crater, but it's gray Wackle sandstone that is melted. And Mike was completely correct. There is one type of tektite that is not completely melted. It's called I've heard it pronounced Moung Nong, and I'm sure that's not the right pronunciation, but they tend to be very, very layered and have grains in them, not be completely incorporated into glass. And they tend to be the heaviest of the tektites. There are several of those that are well over 1 kilogram.
Now, I think at this point, I want to do a little bit of Meteorite 101. The difference between a tektite and an impactite. I did it right as Pat was taking a big bite of his sandwich, but so I'll bear with you a little bit. But I want to understand, because one thing about impact material in general, when I say impact breccia or impact material, what I'm referring to is terrestrial material that's been metamorphized, it's been changed through a meteoritic event, an impact event. But there was some fine tuning the verbiage on tektites and impactites. Pat?
Yeah, so impactites, when we think of like the suavite that the church in the Rice Crater is made out of, and a lot of the other impactites of the very glassy Zamchan impactites, those are terrestrial material that have been modified by an impact. Tektites occur when a very, very large impact hits and terrestrial material is melted to glass and is ejected from the crater some considerable distance. And we were talking about the Australasian tektites, especially the button flange forms, and those are evidence that that impact was big enough that it ejected material that made it outside of, launched it into space in a ballistic orbit, and it re-entered the atmosphere oriented and caused those shapes to be. So there are a lot of impact glasses, Wabar pearls and other ones, and they are from moderate impacts that ejected material, but it didn't really go very far. It's a matter of miles or even less, whereas the Australasian tektite impact threw material many thousands of miles. So there's Libyan Desert Glass. So Libyan desert glass, and again, we don't completely understand it, but we think the best theory is that in that area of Libya, there was a very friable meteorite meteoroid that struck the atmosphere and probably almost completely disrupted at a very low altitude and departed so much energy that it caused the sand to be fused into glass. We've not proven that, but yeah, I think
they never did find the impact. But Libyan desert glass has a smooth, almost like a soapy feel to it at times.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find interesting about it is it literally has sand as embedded in it as it as either it landed or little sand bits fell on top of it after it landed. Yeah. So just another form of, now this is obviously terrestrial material that's been transposed or changed into, from sand into glass.
Mm-hmm. In the Australasian tektites, some of them will actually attract a very, very strong magnet. Not much, but will some. And it's theorized that that's bits of the impactor that caused that Australasian impact. And within the Libyan desert glass, there are some pieces. I actually had one here on the microscope bench that show dark stripes and dark material in them. You can see it's not.
That's cool.
It's really not a honey yellow sort of color.
Wow.
It's, it has a darker color to it. This one won't attract a magnet. I've played with it a fair amount, but not all Libyan desert glass is that honey yellow sort of color.
Right. Sure. Well, I'm going to hit pause for 1 second. Oh, awesome. We're checking in with James Shelton.
This is a medallion I bought in Denver, and it shows where the Libyan desert glass comes from. It's not in Libya, it's in Egypt. And they think that one of the stones in the necklace of King Tut actually has a piece of Libyan desert glass in it.
Right.
And there's a piece. Scarab. Yes, it's stuck on the back of that medallion. And here's a piece of Libyan desert glass with a lot of inclusions in it. That's not on the surface, that's in the interior.
Interior, yeah. Nicely sculpted.
And you see how smooth it is on the exterior as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, because besides the inclusions, the exterior is like a ventifact. It's been wind rounded.
Yes, exactly. Or sanded by the desert winds.
Yes, okay, that's exactly right. The I can't find the bigger piece that I had at hand here, but a lot of times it's a very frothy sort of thing on the surface, but after it's sandblasted for a while, then you get down to the close to clear glass.
I wanted to show this Tektite. I bought this in 1997 there in Tucson at Kitt Peak in the gift shop at the telescope, and it was sold to me as a meteorite. And for many years, I thought I had a meteorite, and then go ahead.
I was just laughing as being sold as a meteorite.
Yeah. Yeah. And
told you it's from the moon too.
And then Pat was talking about the spheres, and here's some Tektite spheres that I wish had turned into flange buttons, but they didn't.
Wow.
And I wanted to mention one more thing that we talked about last time, the Widmanstadt pattern in the Cape York meteorite that I was showing. And I mentioned that those were really Thomson structures. I did a little research on Thomson. His name was William Thomson. He was English. And he came up with a iron meteorite that had a bad surface to it. And he tried to clean it up with nitric acid. And he brought out the structures, the etched structures. And that was in 1804. But he moved to Italy and he published in Italian. And because of the military unrest at that time, his book never got distributed. It didn't get back to England or into the rest of Europe. And that was 1804. Widmanstadt came up with his lines in 1808. So Thomson was 4 years earlier. And that's why I call them Thomson lines.
Give him the credit.
Yeah, give him the credit.
That's
There's actually
really cool backstory.
Yeah, there's actually a movement that's trying to promote those lines as being Thomson lines. If you look up on Wikipedia, it uses both terms.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting.
I think, James, that the scarab in Tutankhamun's death mask, I thought that was absolutely proven to be Libyan desert glass.
Well, it was.
I believe you're right. Yeah. And his sword was proven to be of meteorite material, meteorite iron.
Yes. And in fact, the Egyptians had a hieroglyph for nickel iron meteorites. It was composed of two characters that corresponded to sky and iron.
That's super cool. Wow. Yeah. See, we're learning all kinds of history and everything here on the Knowledge Live. Oh, good. We have Marissa wanting to show off something. Let's check in with Marissa. Ooh.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Marissa.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted to show this off. I'm sure you all know which one this is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how could you not? It's pretty distinct. I mean, once I knew that this diargenite was translucent, I promised myself I had to get a slice someday.
Cool.
I mean, it looks like the large scale picture of like the universe to me, with all the filaments running through.
Is that a Mark Lyons slice?
No, it's not. I got it from a different dealer.
Okay.
Now, just for those watching on YouTube who aren't as familiar with all the NWA numbers and everything, that what we're looking at there is NWA 7831. It's a diagenite found in Western Sahara Desert, and it is rare to get a big piece because it crumbled when it came out of the ground due to the crystal structure. So to get a piece that's solid enough and big enough and worthy enough to cut is a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to thank you, Topher, for the stand, because I would not be able to show my slices if you hadn't sent me this. So thank you for this stand.
No problem. Let me know if you need any more. I got you covered, okay?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll have to get on Travis Howard to make some more for me.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Did you have anything else you wanted to show off? I'll keep the spotlight on you.
Yeah, sure. I had a few more things. For once, my sister will have to take the camera because there's just stuff that I couldn't show, just by having the phone propped up. But here's my Moldavite.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Cool.
It has the 3D ridge in there. See it? The 3D crater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty spectacular. I love the striations on the back where the lines, they're just gorgeous. I probably said that wrong, but
No, that was exactly correct.
but it's 2 grams, but I'm very pleased with it. And you know, both of the ends are intact. It's not chipped or anything. There's a few little chips, but it's pretty much intact.
Yes. Beautiful.
I love the other side that has that crater in it. After I started looking at Moldavite and started realizing those craters were in there, I started spotting them everywhere. And there, look, there it is.
Yeah.
It's like that crazy song you hear on the radio, then you hear it everywhere. Everywhere I look now, I see those craters in Moldavite.
Yeah, and then I wanted to show off my Sikhote-Alin because it's just too big.
Hey, yes.
That is what we call a natural patina.
Yes.
Yep.
And they're so many of them have been cleaned that they're that the ones with natural patina are getting rare.
Oh my God, Marissa, you blew my mind when you turned it over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's I had to get it. It's 72 grams. So I struggle a little bit to maneuver it and pick it up. So
oh, it should be enjoyed in slow motion. What I find super attractive about this piece is the patina is amazing. The fact that it hasn't been dunked in transmission fluid, it's not black at all. You have that beautiful shape to it, and it actually has some like shearing, some tearing marks on that one side.
yeah,
it has the scrape marks. Yeah.
These scrape marks. Yeah, I could just totally see this thing ripping off of the mass, and these being formed. There's just the energy to do that is just mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the last piece I wanted to show is my largest piece. I cannot pick this thing up.
Wow.
Wow.
What is that?
What is that?
It's just an unclassified NWA.
It's got so much character going on.
Look at all the regmaglyphs. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Contraction cracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1,470 grams.
Wow.
Oh. You're in the kilo club.
And crusty crustamus on the side.
Yeah, and my favorite is this side because I don't know why, but it might be the interior, but there's these stripes right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those appear to be shock veins.
If it was shock veins, that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking they are.
Yeah, it's shocked. And it looks like there's a little bit of secondary.
Mm-hmm. And the overall shape too is very blocky, which probably fractured along shock planes.
Yeah, let me have my sister flip it over and show the top side or the bottom.
The caliche, that's the side that's set on the desert.
Yeah, I could see somebody just picking this right up. And I wish I could.
How does it react to a magnet?
I wish I could cut it, but I'm afraid of this.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, as meteorites weather the rare water that occurs there in the Sahara gets down into the rock and rusts the iron grains, which expand, and then they pop open a crack. And yeah, sometimes they're really fragile. I've got one or two that are cracked that you wouldn't think there'd be any way it would still hold together, but it is.
Mm-hmm. Is that your biggest one?
That's my biggest baby. It's much.
Wow.
But
that's great. Thank you so much for sharing. you know, for those that don't know, Marissa is going to be with us in Tucson in 2022. She's going to be one of the. She's not going to be staying at the Meteorite Mansion necessarily, but she has VIP access. She runs the place.
I can't wait. I'm super excited. I'm just already there.
Yeah, she's still living her dream of a few years ago. What was it? 2016 or?
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, in 2016, Marissa was able to go to the Tucson show, and we're going to make sure that it happens again for 2022, and everyone can enjoy themselves. It's going to be a blast. Let me see
Can't
here.
wait to see you guys.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
gonna be cool to hang out and finally, because we hang out digitally on Facebook all the time, and we share pictures and we instant message, but to actually come together and have a place for everyone to physically be at and spend time together and have that face-to-face interaction. Really looking forward to it. We got Ron Metchigas in the house.
Yeah, I've just got one thing I want to show. Getting back to Libyan Desert Glass, I'm going to switch my screen over. A little short video. Let me do this one right here. Okay, can you see that? Oh, wait a minute. Share. There we go. You see that?
Yeah, it's coming up. There it is.
Okay, yeah. This is a piece I got from Ann Black a couple of years ago. I've shown this before, but just since we're talking about Libyan Desert Glass, I'd run this real quick. So this is translucent, but it's also got that cool little notch in it right there.
Wow.
Yeah, this is my. I have several others, but this is absolutely the best one. See that little notch right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually. Let me go back just a little bit.
And some of the dark inclusion material there too.
Yeah, that's what I like about this. But this right here, the little pebble got caught in there, and I think that's what's making that groove. Part of it. Ann told me, don't take that out because that's where the money is. her exact words.
So that's actually a pebble stuck in there?
Yeah, it's a little pebble.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that it's got almost every color. It's got a little green, yellow, a little brown, a little black.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't find them like this. So this is about 2 years ago.
Oh, like there it is. Look at that right there.
Money shot.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just a little piece here.
Hey, Ron, I got your sister piece.
Really?
Look,
I'll show you in a minute.
Right there.
Yeah, so that's that pebble right there. Kind of makes the whole bit. It's got that glassy feel to it, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece.
That shows the shallow stippling too. That kind of look like regolith, but is the ventifact effect of the.
And there's there's embedded sand. There's a little bit of everything in this one.
Yeah, and that one has the frothy stuff on one side there, and that's the way it started out, we think.
Yeah.
And then was polished by the sand.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that. This is one of my favorite pieces. I got a couple of others that I purchased, but this one stands out above all of them.
Cool.
Beauty. Yeah.
All right, that's really all I've got. I got a lot more.
I'm interested to see the sister slice of this thing.
Yeah, let's see that sister slice. Let me get back. Let me see.
So here's the back side. It's a little bit smaller than yours. If I can get the focus, but roll it over.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Same thing. That thing is solidly in there. It does not move at all. It's sitting inside the channel.
Yep, that's what mine is. It's in there. You can't budget, so which I don't want to budget.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought that's same thing. That's why I picked that piece out. I said that's too unique. I gotta grab one like that.
That's just great.
And then while I'm on here, we talked almost all the other Tektites. So I wanted to if you if you make it to Australia, you can look for Australiites and Indochinites over in the east. But if you don't want to go quite as far, you can go down to College Station, Texas, and you can hunt the Badiasites.
Yeah.
Which are legit Tektites. From an impact in the the Chesapeake Basin. So East Coast to landing in Texas gives you an idea of the distance.
Wow.
So this is actually a personal find. The only one I found that day.
Nice.
Cool.
But I was glad to find one. There were only 2 that turned up that day. And that one went home with me. It's like a 10 grammer. But I mean, they're just sitting out kind of like in the grass and in the road ditches. And this was found on a little washout leading down underneath a bridge. So yeah, if anyone's interested, get out there and check it out. You can find one yourself. And even if you don't go home with that, there's plenty of cool petrified wood and stuff hanging out there.
Oh yeah.
Grab pieces of. So thought I'd share that.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Thank you, man.
I've got one more clip I'd like to share. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Let me see here. Share screen, and that one. This is a Philippine. It's a Rizalite.
Oh.
Rizalite. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I bought 2 of these.
I think isn't it a bakelite?
It was told me as a Rizalite. It might be a bakelite.
Yeah, both of those are Philippine Tektites,
right,
but
right,
they're from different areas.
Right. And I spent 15 months in the Philippines when I was in the Air Force. I was stationed at Clark Air Base, and I wish I had known about these back then, back in the 70s.
Okay.
These are
gorgeous.
Did I see 216 grams on it?
These are large. Yeah, the 153. And then the other one is 216. Yeah, these are large. That's why I got them. I like large things.
There have been some of these that are almost 400 grams, but they're extraordinarily rare.
Wow, that is crazy.
There's both of them right there. You can see relative to the centimeter cube.
Yeah,
that's I couldn't decide which one to buy, so I got both of them.
That's the best decision ever is getting
good decision.
Yeah, I remember Chris Monk coming over my house, and he was thinking, I should get Mars, I should get Moon, and he's like, you know what? I should get a planetary set, and I was like,
sure,
good. Hold on, here we go. They hate us because they ain't us. I put myself out there. I spend a lot of time in outreach. I consider this outreach. I'm not selling products. I'm helping bring the community together and bring knowledge to the masses. That's the end goal of this channel. I'm getting some thumbs up from the group, as I appreciate that. It's not a sales pitch. I don't, I do this out of pure enjoyment and out of friendship. I have a full-time job. I work all day. I'm commission only. And then I switch over into meteorite mode. And I'm just sick and tired of people feeling that they can abuse me at will. And I figured I'm going to start showing you guys some of the crap I have to deal with and why I go black on social media sometimes, because it just never ends. Here's one guy I contacted today, Dylan. I told you you're going to be on YouTube. I told you, and you kept pushing it. You wouldn't leave it alone. This guy swears he has platinum meteorites. They're certified. Hold on, let me turn on my spotlight of ignorance. My spotlight of ignorance is now on. They're meteorites, they're platinum, they're 7 grams, and they're certified. So I sent him a very quick email, and I said one word, certified, question mark. Well, it turns out he's a fan of us. He watches us on YouTube. Okay, so we're making an impact. People are knowing about the knowledge bolide. The problem is, he says they were just classified. They added that so I'd get more views. The problem with this, and I'm being respectful, I took out his phone number, but his name is Dylan. Dylan, the problem with you, with other people like you don't understand eBay is not social media. You're not going for views and likes. It's a sales platform. It's an e-commerce website. It's not for you to run things by and get people's opinions. Go to Facebook for that, okay? Get off eBay. So I talked to him about this, and turns out that he has proof that it's genuine because he has others that are just like it. So there's your bona fide proof. What other scientific proof could you need that it's a meteorite other than it looks like the other rocks I found as well? So
that's simple.
I have so, and you know what? Do you see this behind me? Okay, that's my retirement. Okay, I keep a gun with me at all times because the value we're talking about. So when you say that you're going to show me so many genuine meteorites, my head is going to flip. You obviously haven't seen my video or any of my videos where I'm surrounded by millions of dollars of real meteorites, or else you wouldn't be so stupid as to make such an idiotic claim like that.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of meteorites. Well, my reply to him is it's 100% not a meteorite. But this is my reply to his first message. I can't believe you watch me and you would still add, hey, I've added this just to get more views. You better remove the word meteorite and certified, or I'll be lighting you up in a few hours as the faker. Well, guess what? It's a few hours later. Pay the piper. He took down his post. Yay! And then, Dylan, you couldn't leave well enough alone. I have Mike Kelly, who's going to be chiming in. Mike is way more intelligent than you, way more intelligent than me, and he actually is educated. He has a degree. He's going to talk, and he's not going to talk out of his ass. He's going to tell you about platinum. He's going to tell you about platinum meteorites, and I hope you listen to him. Because he threatens here, Dylan, the guy who can self-pair meteorites to other meteorites that he found, and now they're real, claims he's going to be listing the other platinum meteorites. And if you, meaning all of us, make any means to declare otherwise, he's going to seek further action with eBay. Go for it. Okay, so he says, hey, man, I thought you were a good cat when I saw your channel. Yeah, I am a good cat. I hate fakers. You're a faker. But this is where he insults every one of you. It just seems like you're brainwashed like the rest of the ignorant meteorite collectors that do not understand deep concepts.
Yeah.
Dylan, you're hopeless, man. You're reaching out to one of the internationally known meteorite educators with a big channel, and you're telling everyone that's an ignorant meteorite collector and we're brainwashed. You're not making many friends, Dylan. I think you need to go back to etiquette school. And then here again the claim, you'll be jealous. You know, I've never bought a meteor in my life. I actually go out and find them every time I go. This cat finds meteorites every time he goes out, and I can't. I do want to talk about some super sexy, super reliable, super expensive meteorites. I have the link here at the top of the screen. Bonham's auction house is one of the premier auction houses in the nation, probably in the world. It's like them, Christie's, Sotheby's. There's the Carr one, but if you guys want to feel like totally in awe of meteorites, go out to this webpage, Bonham's Auctions. Go to the natural history or natural whatever section, and you can track all their auctions. This happens to be a beautiful piece of Lunar. It's the main mast to a newly being classified Lunar. This is the main mast that represents, I think, 58% of the entire fall. I think it's 2.55 kilos.
Wow, that's pretty big for Lunar.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is a joint venture owned by a lot of our friends, and I just wanted to bring a little bit of awareness to it. If you have an extra $200,000 or $300,000 laying around, feel free to make your bid. That
I don't live in that neighborhood.
It may go for less, but it would definitely be the centerpiece of your collection. If you just want to drool, you can go out there as well, because they have other stuff like this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, crusted smoothie. I mean, it's just gorgeous meteorite. You know what I want to say next.
Do you call those the untouchables for the normal buyer?
Yeah. It's put it this way. When you go to buy artwork for your house, do you go to an art gallery or do you go to Walmart, Kmart, and Amazon? Because
You're talking to me
Walmart,
now,
Amazon. But they're showpieces and they're expensive for a reason, because and they're all highly vetted. I know a little bit of the process behind Bonham's auctions. So these are all in the auction house's hands right now. They're already, when it says it's in LA, it means it's in LA. When this is owned by my friends, and they're not in LA, this piece is actually in LA. So go out to Bonham's and buy yourself a meteorite, sell your house. But now we're going to shift gears a little bit. Now that I'm done, ranting and raving about all the crazy crap out there, I figured we'd rinse our palate as we draw the evening to an end with a little bit of information to go. So Pat, I'm going to light you up real quick.
Okay. So we kind of went a different direction today and talked a lot about tektites. Tektites are fascinating in that they are they've been historically known for some time. Darwin actually, in one of his books, has a drawing of a button flange tektite. But there's still a lot that we don't know. So I wanted to show off a few books. So this one is a Neininger booklet, and early on, it was proposed that tektites were from volcanic action or impact action on the moon. That turned out not to be true. The tektite books are sort of few and far between, and many of them are out of print and hard to get. But this is one by Heinen. This is the one that I showed earlier.
Yep.
Tektite by Barnes and Barnes.
And just so everyone knows, I'll be listing all these books in the comments below.
Okay, I'll send the titles and authors to you in the chat. So there's Hal Povenmire.
Are you making these available, Pat?
No, this is my personal collection.
Oh, all right, okay.
So this is one by Hal Povenmire. Another one by Povenmire.
Ooh, that looks interesting.
Sounds like Povenmire knows his stuff.
Edited by John O'Keefe, and O'Keefe was a NASA researcher and did some work on tektites, and this is his older work, I think from '63, if I'm remembering right. And then he did another one a little later, Tektites and Their Origin, which is a good book, but no longer. So he's putting forth that lunar impact theory, which is no longer valid.
You probably find them in a university library or something.
Yes. This one here is actually still in print, Tektites in the Geological Record. It's by the Geological Society of the UK. And this one is really quite technically accurate. If I remember correctly, it's an expensive book. I think it was $130 or so. But been collecting meteorites and tektites for more than 30 years, and I've been collecting the books for more than 30 years as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, this one by McNamara.
I could probably read that one.
Yeah. Yes, that one is a pamphlet that I picked up at the Smithsonian, actually. So, and then there's a lot of good information on the web. There are a couple of Facebook groups of note about tektites that are populated with experts, and tektites, because they're such an obscure topic, there tend not to be very many experts, but there are experts to be found there. Unfortunately, there's also a lot of people hawking crystal healing non-tektites that they want to charge tektite prices for.
On that web page I just blasted, they actually sell Moldavite healing oil, little containers of oil with Moldavite in the bottom, and to eat. So, but I don't want to talk about voodoo anymore. I don't want to talk about made-up sciences. I want to go directly to Mike Kelley and learn the real deal about platinum in meteorites. Is it something that exists? Can you have a 7-gram piece of meteorite that's platinum?
So platinum is in meteorites. In fact, platinum is one of the metals that's in just about every meteorite. But the thing is, platinum in meteorites, if you look at the chondrites, you're talking anywhere between 0.85 parts per million to 1.71 parts per million in the chondrites. What's kind of interesting is you covered.
Hold on 1 second. I want to baby step this for Dylan, okay? So what you're saying is, it is true that platinum exists in all meteorites. However, in chondrites, which is the most common form of meteorites, you're talking, if we round up, you're talking less than 2 parts per million parts.
Million, yeah, ppm.
Okay, thank you very much. Please continue.
And now when you get to the irons, you get a little higher. Because what's kind of interesting is platinum, just like in platinum mining, a lot of times is found in conjunction with nickel deposits. So just like in the meteorites, the higher the nickel content, typically the higher the correlation of platinum inside of meteorites too. So you get some of the siderites with really high nickel content in them, up in the 18% range, 16 to 18% range for some of the crazy high ones. And you actually get higher parts per million. And you're talking, I think the highest one I've ever seen in research was 120 parts per million was listed. But on average, you're talking more in line with 30 parts per million for the high end iron meteorites, which is when you think about, if you're saying that an iron meteorite is a differentiated core of a deceased planet, just like on the Earth, the majority of all of those platinum group metals are rare on the surface because they got incorporated and are sitting down way miles below our feet. So there's little left in the crust. So just like you get little less left in the chondrites, and very little in the achondrites, being surface materials, we're getting it's mostly found only in your iron meteorites in any abundance. And by abundance I mean
30
barely to the level that we would mine it on Earth. Not a 7-gram solid nugget.
Now, I have a question for you. Are you making this up? Are you educated? What are your qualifications?
So my background is in geology. My undergrad is a BS in geology from WVU. So that's kind of one of the things I was very interested in was mining when I came up. And we had talked about Sudbury before. So there's another great case where Sudbury is primarily nickel, but they'll pull a large amount of platinum out of there. And that was one of the areas I was very interested in, because they're the 4th largest producer of like platinum in the world, and it's in an old impact crater basin. There are flood basalts and other things going on there that also bring in some of the rarer PGE platinum group elements. But yeah, you look at research papers for meteorites, and that's mostly where I cruise through and I'm trying to figure out what different minerals I have in my collection, and the trace elements are part of that. So I just been doing research on that, and they've been pulling data on platinum content in meteorites since the 1930s.
Yeah.
I think the oldest paper I've seen was like 1936.
Yeah, I read one today from 1938. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So they've been looking at it for a long time and separating out the 6 different platinum group elements, and basically, the values, like I said, with the exception of that outlier of 120, over the course of experimentation in the 60s and 70s and 90s, they all came up with relatively the same numbers, looking at a lot of meteorites.
Okay.
So there's high confidence level by repeating the science over and over and over again, that you're looking at chondrites less than a part per million to less than 2 parts per million, and irons anywhere between on average around 9 to 10, running all the way up to the high end of 30 before you get into the the high sigma level outliers.
Yeah, and we're not talking percentages, we're talking parts per million.
Yes.
Mike, are you a convicted criminal, or are you a family man and an active service member of the American military?
Yeah, there's no criminal record. Sorry to disappoint.
You're an active member of the military of the U.S. government, is that correct?
That's my day job, yeah.
So there's no reason for us not to believe anything that you've stated today.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with it. It's just you gotta do the science behind it, and look at what's theoretically possible. There's no gold nuggets floating around in our meteorites, and platinum group elements are more rare than gold. So
Micro diamonds.
There are micro diamonds. Plenty of micro diamonds.
Are they as large as the parts per billion of nickel and platinum?
I wouldn't even imagine that. I had to go pull stats on, because then you're looking at the same thing you got to do here. Is you got to look at it and break down the class, right? Mm. So you might win out in the Uralites, obviously, but you'll lose out in a lot of other places, But again, that's something that I wouldn't throw a value out there and say I know this, because that's an area I haven't looked at to compare the two.
The other piece of evidence or line of evidence that we have that's important is in the Antarctic, in our ANSMET work, and in the work of the Japanese and the South Koreans and some other groups that collect meteorites down there. The meteorites are recovered in an area where there are mostly meteorites. There are a few terrestrial rocks too. Well, actually, that's not fair. Way more meteorites than the ratio of those is way better than most places on Earth. However, there we collect meteorites in a very pristine way, and we sample all of the various types of meteorites. People claim that there are these platinum meteorites, and you just haven't found one yet. The scientists didn't have one yet. Well, the 2/3 of the meteorites found on the planet have been found in Antarctica in very pristine conditions, and it samples all of the types of meteorites very effectively. So we can say quite conclusively that there aren't ceramic mill ball blow and something or rights, and that there are not platinum nugget meteorites.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate the two most scientifically knowledgeable guys ringing in on that. I'm going to ask everyone, after I hit stop recording, please do not leave. I have a private question for the VIP crew members. But that brings us to an end for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. I really appreciate it. Mike, did you have something?
Hey, go check out SN15 Stuck to Landing, SpaceX. I think it was right before